If Dark had a voice of doubt, he would have taken it out behind his house and shot it years ago. Doesn't exist anymore.
Not at all, man. He's confidence personified. It is awesome to see him here, looking in great form once again.
Let's get into it, guys. At the bottom right here, currently on match point, poised to face Stats in the semi-final. Just one more map. This is the Blue Zerg, Dark!
And his opponent down 0-2. He needs to win 3 games in a row to get back in this one. He's one of the greatest players over the last couple of years in Korea. A great ambassador for the region, and someone who needs your support more than ever right now. The Red Zerg, give it up for Solar!
This Polish crowd came in here for 14, 13 hours of StarCraft here. They want more maps, and it's up to Solar to make that happen here.
That's it. You know, we usually have this day run for something like, 13 hours. Not unusual on this day to get out of here at about 1 a.m. It's been a quicker day than usual, and Roddy was talking about it earlier. Normally, you know, if you get a few 3-0s in one round, the next round is absolutely sickening. So I'm already thinking about the semis and the finals tomorrow, but these players, they're not just yet. Solar and Dark here. It's, wow. Wow.
Another three hatch opening here. 2 hatch before pull for both players.
Wow, that's awesome. Both players here taking that little bit of a gamble. Bit of a gamble. Damn. All right, well, I guess we're going to go straight into the mid-game here. No, I mean, doesn't always mean that. Dark, of course, went for the 3 hatcheries, but what he did was just use that extra bit of lava to get aggressive. Yeah. I guess there might be a battle for map control, right? Because since you got that 3rd up so early, it is kind of hard to secure the natural and the 3rd so early. So usually this is a scenario where you're kind of stretched out, and the best defense becomes a good offense. So we're very likely to see Lingbane skirmishes and both players vying for control. And that's a very mechanical scenario. So I definitely favor Dark in that scenario. I'm hoping Solar really sets up his overlords well for it for vision. Maybe sets up a very sneaky Link counterattack. Something that can like really just take the attention of Dark away, put him on the back foot. If Solar can get a bit of momentum, I've got faith in him going toe-to-toe with Dark here.
Certainly with you there. Both players getting their queens up at each base. Of course, we're trying to see where they start to differentiate a little bit here. Dark going for the early Overlord, whereas Solar straight into Ling speed, waiting for that extra bit of lava to come out before getting his own. But so that means that Dark will have a extra handful of drones for a minute, but it's really just fine hairs. It's not a big difference between either player here, with the builds being so similar and so greedy.
Yep, 3 queens on the way for both sides. Couple more workers are out here for Dark, but Solar has a very similarly timed Ling speed. Creep Tumor already on the way there for Dark, and I'm just waiting to see when those Baneling nests go down.
I've got a bit of a lull of the action here, but I mean, the biggest highlight of today to me, and it's sort of like a highlight and a low light, was the Serral versus Sue series, where it honestly was some of the best CVZs I've ever seen.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not even Zerg versus Zerg, it's Zerg versus Serral. It's a different beast. It's its own thing at this point, and I'm sure the people watching are saying, yeah, this does seem like a different series, right? Different matchup is being played. Absolutely. No one can defend like Serral and play like Serral. Both players, of course, aware of the other players opening, realizing the Banelings would be delayed. They've both decided to go Roach Warren first. Solar now up a couple of workers. They're both very similar in economy. Lots more Lings on the way for Solar. Meanwhile, Dark already going for Roaches. He's skipped the Zergling speed. Did he cancel his Ling speed? Dark? He did. Oh my. Canceled that Link speed at the last second. He's gone for the Roach tech. He's trying to wall off on 2 base now. Has Dark been too greedy? That's a lot of Lings coming over.
3rd base is going to be a little bit tough to hold. Obviously, the Bastion here in that natural, that wall in, is going to be tough for the Lings to get past, with Dark's Roaches and Queens being around there, sort of shepherding these Lings out. But the 3rd is still rather exposed. All the Roaches of Dark are out in good numbers here, and they're actually all right to be able to stand toe-to-toe against this many Lings.
Solar does take a 10-worker advantage behind it, though. The immobility of the Roaches, the fact that they take longer to build, meaning Dark had to build more of them ahead of time to make sure he was ready for a potential flood
because the only notice you get of that as Dark is, oh, there's a few more blips on the radar on the minimap, and then suddenly there's another 30 Zerglings in your base. So being forced to over-prepare with his own Roach count. No, he leaves the door open! That's a big mistake. Solar gets absolute information and a Queen snipe to boot.
Wow, strong start here for Solar, who's down in the series, and he needs a ledges like this to get back against Dark. Very nicely done with that run by, even getting a few drones before the Lings get picked off. Great stuff from Solar.
Flawless opening so far for Solar. Ahead on the lair. Does have the Evo chamber way ahead there as well. It's going Overlord speed very early on. The only worry I have, of course, for Solar is a Roach attack, but with Roach speed so far away, Dark adding more Queens, this is looking beautiful for Solar. Up 9 workers, ahead in the tech. You've got Overlord speed, Overseers, you've got more information. Solar has played this one perfectly.
With Overlord speed, you can start to do annoying things with your Overseers like Contaminate, which we've been seeing a lot in this matchup lately, and also using Overlords for those cheeky Nidus Worms, which have also found their way in the matchup. Solar going for that 4th base, knowing that there's not a whole lot that Dark can do about it. As Big mentioned, Roach speed has only just begun for Dark. He knows that the lair timing of Dark is only just now finishing. And he is safe to do it, just to take a bit more of a lead here economically. Dark still chilling on 3 bases. Very tough for him to take a 4th at the moment, although it looks like he might try.
Sees more drones coming out there, and Solar immediately says, all right, second Evo chamber, Hydroden, let's go. +2 range starting up ahead there for Solar. Cancels the Hydroden.
Interesting.
Was spotted there. Might just be going for mass Roach or tunneling claws or something like that, but with 69 workers, 6 gases already in a 4th base, Solar will have a little bit of extra money to be working with.
Now, we've learned in ZVZ that +2 attack is the most important upgrade here, especially when it's Roach versus Roach or Roach Ravager versus Roach Ravager. Even Hydralisks benefit a lot from that +2 attack in these kind of battles. We are seeing the Nidus Worm from Solar, and I kind of expected that, considering he has Overlord speed. He can pop up the worm all over the place here, and it looks like that was the plan after cancelling the Hydroden.
Absolutely. Solar's got 100% map vision right now. Lots of Roaches and Ravagers in that 2-1 upgrade you're talking about. It's going to be a big window of a couple of minutes, about a minute and a half ahead. Solar is on +2 compared to Dark, and already has Overseers in position, ready to pop down those Nidus Worms on all angles. Are the Roaches going to push across on the ground as well, I wonder? Because a lot of the time you see the player kind of posture across on the middle and then start to reinforce through the Nidus into their opponent's base. Right in Dark's face. Dark already reacting very quickly. So Roach is trying to take that down from the low
the Nidus
ground.
Worm's empty. He's trying to pull Dark away from the 4th base so that Solar can attack with a big ground army.
Yep, another reinforcing one at the front. Biles are going to take that down, but another one goes up just a little bit further back there. Roaches and Ravagers clashing in the middle of this map. There is a slight upgrade advantage for Dark right now, but in about 45 seconds, that's going to turn upside down. Very even numbers, but Dark here ambitiously pushing forward and taking the better engagements. The reinforced now coming out right into the battle though, but the Nidus Worm gets focused down. Dark shutting down the reinforcement path. Then despite Solar's good opening, Dark controlling these middle engagements.
Yeah, well, at the bottom of the screen, the army supplies look so close. A good chunk of the army supply was actually inside the Nidus Worm, so it wasn't helping out Solar during those engagements. Dark overwhelming and stopping another Nidus Worm attempt at the main base, and another engagement in the middle map here. Going well for Dark, even catching a Ravager with his corrosive biles. Nicely done from Dark. He is just, he's a ZVZ master, man. This kid is out of control.
Yeah, Solar, I feel like he's mistimed these Nidus Worms, and he keeps morphing these Ravagers in the open, giving Dark even more free kills. He keeps picking them off, and the upgrade advantage is now here for Solar. +2 versus +1. He's got to fight this, and he's got to fight it now. He's got the Concave. Dark here, pushing very ambitiously across the map. It felt like Solar wasn't mentally prepared to take this fight, but I think he's got the angle. The Biles, though. Those Biles, the superior Ravager count of Dark, working wonders.
Yeah, Solar's upgrade advantage being shown off here, and also a lot of Roaches usually trade a little bit better against a lot more Ravagers. Another Nidus Worm here in the natural, but these Roaches do all right against Armored. These Nidus Worms are armored and get taken down relatively quickly by half a dozen Roaches. Down it goes. And Solar really trying to make this Nidus tech work, but Dark is just shutting it down. I've only seen, I think, one Nidus Worm pop up here successfully for Solar, and Dark never makes it live for very long. Another big engagement in the middle. Solar pouncing in here. That upgrade advantage is still his. Maybe he can take this fight, but this choke point is so awkward to engage in.
Dark's +2 can't be far away now. Tunneling Claws and Burrow are coming forward as well. Solar here still maintaining pressure, trying another Nidus Worm in the back of the base. But once again, Dark is so quick to react. He's created so much space for himself at the front that it gives him time to respond to those Nidus Worms. But now Solar barreling down the front. He's looking for the angle. His bile's a little bit clumped, but nonetheless forcing Dark to disengage.
Like some units actually got out of this Nidus Worm here, but not enough to actually overwhelm the defenses of Dark in the main base. Solar still with a army supply advantage. A lot of it, though, is being made at home and isn't in this fight. He's got 17 more roaches on the way. Dark still pushing Solar back away from his army, eating some big biles, though. Both players very, very neck and neck here, especially considering Dark is about to finish +2 attack. But he's going to have Tunneling Claws and Burrows shortly, and that's a potential big tech advantage for Dark.
The Ravager count really not as high as it could have been. Solar's lost so many Ravagers in these fights. He's only got 4 of them, and the lack of biles is definitely something which is hurting him. Constantly losing these Nidus Worms. Dark pushing him back and maintaining control of his territory.
I know Nidus Worms are cheap, but they actually do start to cost resources when you're losing 8 or 9 of them here.
Yeah, 50 minerals and 50 gas each time does start to add up. Tunneling Claw roaches going across. Dark, if he can slide those into an undefended mineral line, he knows he's going to be in a good spot. Solar starting spine crawlers at home. He's realized there could be roaches on the way, but I don't think they're going to be up in time.
Solar's got a good chunk of his army actually just leaving the Nidus Worm and avoiding this fight of Dark here. They're coming back home. Looks like he might have just seen these roaches flood on in, and he does. Unburrowed tactics here from Dark, something that Cyril will be showing a lot of DCVCs as well. Dark trying it off the sides here, getting into those mineral lines, fighting a lot of drone damage here against Cyril. Dark finding himself over 11 workers high here. He's actually 12 workers ahead of Solar at the moment.
A devastating counterattack, still doing more and more damage in the third, in the natural, all over the place, and this has opened up the opportunity for Dark to push across the map. The main thrust of his army, ready to take advantage of Solar being out of position. Posturing, pushing forwards. A lot of his roaches are wounded. I wouldn't mind Dark pulling back to heal, but he's going to try and force the issue for now. Aspire's on the way. Dark looking for a Mutalisk tech switch. He's got +2 carapace on the way as well, so he will be pushing ever so slowly towards that upgrade advantage.
You don't see +2 carapace too often, but we are seeing it on the way here for Dark. Another Nidus Worm from Solar. This one is actually looking like it might be a bit more successful as Dark is distracted over here with this engagement in the middle of the map. This one's going to pop up, and I think that Solar should be able to get a hatchery cancel here.
Yeah, absolutely. These roaches are going to be able to finally get a little bit of damage here. Soul has been looking for that for so long. Dark's bank is epic. He's got like 4,000 minerals. We're on Dark's first-person camera. One of the fastest Zerg players in the world. A player who plays so well from behind. But right now, he's not even behind. He might be on the back foot positionally, but he's got roaches. He's sliding them into those bases. You can see him moving in and trying to focus down the opponent's economy. At the same time, he's trying to move forward. He's going to dodge those biles. But roaches sliding into his natural. Here we see him desperately trying to split his army up.
Yeah, Dark is everywhere. Look at that mini-map. That's the one that's telling the tale here. You can see that Dark has got units at the third base. The Solar's got a natural as well. We got Tulsa. His defense has been pulled back to deny that Nidus Worm and stop these roaches from doing further drone damage. Both players taking a big hit to that economy, but Dark's still ahead. 11 workers here, and Solar is going for the Hail Mary Lurkers, and I think Lurkers might be a good option, but with these Mutalisks out, he's just continuing to take damage for free here. No Queen coverage, no Spore Crawler coverage.
The Roach Ravager finally does clean up Solar's counterattack. Both players still maxed, but Solar taking irrecoverable economy damage. Down to 45 workers up against the 59 drones of Dark. Solar with no money in the bank. Yes, he's maxed out, but guess what? Dark has 5,000 minerals and 2,000 gas to fall back on. Dark is large and in charge. This flock of mutas causing a massive problem. And they forced out the Hydras. He's going to pick off 1 or 2, and then going to withdraw for now. The Mutalisk's rapid regeneration. Useful if you run away.
It's a big if there. Well, I mean, the big story is that Dark, even if he does lose this army, he can remax quite fast as long as his lava's pretty high. And no doubt he's on top of his injects here. We got a big Roach Ravager ball here for Solar. And he's also got some Lurkers as well. Very nice biles, yeah. And Dark actually losing the concave here. Solar starting to press the advantage.
But he's going to eat big biles if he wants to force the issue here. The Ravagers of Dark being used fantastically, just spraying down those biles. He says you cannot force this fight. Eats 1 or 2 of his own, but at the same time, the Muta's in the rally point causing havoc.
Multitasking like a madman is Dark. Those Mutalisks still finding damage. He splits off his army to the hatchery on the right-hand side here at the top. North spawn of Solar getting taken down. It looks like Solar might be able to defend it though. Reinforcement roaches coming on down. A lot more roaches than Dark. Solar even bringing in the Lurkers as well to help out and solidify this defense.
Lurkers are one of the most powerful splash damage anti-ground units. Oh my lord, Solar! Stop walking into those biles, please, for the love of roaches everywhere. It's such a chaotic game, obviously. There's things going on in so many areas at once. Right now, 4 bases for Dark, 5 for Solar. Solar still down low on economy. Those Lurkers, though, are his resource. One of them gets sniped down. He's only got 1 Lurker. I don't think Solar can push. His army's lower, and 1 Lurker's not going to cut it.
I think he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place here, Pig. If he goes home, he's just behind an economy. If he attacks, he's behind an army supply. And Dark has so much of a bank that Solar actually can't afford to lose anything right now. He can't lose drones, he can't lose units. I love this from Solar, though. Relatively cheap maneuver here to send a few roaches into each mineral line to try and solidify a worker lead again.
That is disgusting there. Beautiful roaches burrowing their way into the mineral line, taking down the undefended workers. A clash in the middle of the map begins, but both players quickly disengaging, respecting the corrosive biles. The roaches in the main as well, not really getting that many kills. Solar not microing these roaches as well as Dark. Remember, Dark's roaches were often getting 10, 12 workers each time they got in there. Solar's not finding quite as many. But that being said, Solar's weathered the storm for now. He's getting close to maxed out. Similar economy. He's got a lot more lurkers out as well. I don't think he has a hive, so definitely no adaptive talons. But nonetheless, these lurkers can do some big damage.
Yeah, certainly. They're making things a little bit tough for Dark to tie a bow on this one. It's hard to finish off a guy that has lurkers when you don't have them yourself. Even with overwhelming army supply, a bunch of terrible trades against lurkers actually could spell Solar coming back in this game. I mean, Solar just needs to slow things down, keep Dark away so that he can expand and just amass a bit of a bank. Dark continuing to just throw units at him.
Yeah, I mean, right now the economy's actually dead even. Obviously, Dark has bank. Bank is not the most important thing. It's how well you can use your late game units. The real problem here is the hive is, okay, I was going to say the hive is not on the way for Solar. As I said, that he starts up his own hive. So both players are going to go to Vipers and the game will slow down. What? Oh.
Well, I guess they're dead.
No, that's like 16 roaches. I kept looking at them like, are those changelings? I'm like, changelings don't turn into roaches. Ping loses a lot of them. A few of them are going to tunnel in, but Dark, as I mentioned this earlier, you know, Solar struggled earlier against Ragnarok in the multitasking. Dark definitely the faster player of the two, and when the game gets scrappy, he does tend to come out on top, but Solar using as much of his APM as possible to queue more roaches, and he will find little bits of damage. Lurkers in the middle! Oh, that's a big mistake. 2 of them go down immediately. A third one almost gets focused down. Ooh.
Yeah, these are losses that Solar really can't afford that much. While his bank is getting a little bit higher, it's not super great. We have a very, very hard to attack into Dark, and attacking without adaptive talons is quite tough for these lurkers as well. He does have a nice high ground here. Ooh, loses another lurker to the biles.
Yeah, just copping the edge of that bile to the face. That lurker does go down. The lurker count, each time it gets smaller, it's really bad. Right now, if Dark takes a pitched battle, he will lose this game. If he just fights head-to-head against the lurkers, he's dead. But notice how he's zoning. He's slowing down the lurkers from getting to his side of the map. He says, look, whenever they're unburrowed, I can engage, pick off a lurker or 2, and then pull back. And you'll notice how Solar, so desperate to fight at Dark side of the map, is unable to force it to happen. He's just being slowed down, held back, and the counterattacks are continuing from Dark.
And he is. He's running into the third base here of Solar, chopping into that hatchery. There's only one spine crawler, and that is not going to be enough to cut the mustard here. Solar also going for burrow tactics, finding more drone damage. Both players tearing each other apart. Dark and Solar actually pulling back to defend against this harassment. Meanwhile, the main attack in the middle is about to clash again.
Oh,
another lurker.
Every single time, Dark is so on top of this. He knows he doesn't have the best answer to it right now, so he's so on top of shutting that down. He does lose another 8 drones to even more tunneling claw roaches, but he never gives up position in the center of the map. Solar keeps splitting those roaches off, trying to pull Dark away so that his lurkers can move forward, but now he's run out of time. He still thinks he can push with the lurkers. Guess what? There's 4 Vipers and 12 lurkers of his own on Dark side of the map. Adaptive Talons, the lurker speed upgrade, which is basically permanent stim pack for lurkers, is on the way. Ooh. And nice corrosive biles, but a good dodge by Solar.
Nice control of those lurkers now. The adaptive talent making it a lot easier. It's going to deny +3 attack upgrades here for Dark as well. Nice little edge there, but the Vipers are a huge advantage for Dark. He can yoink these lurkers out, but blinding clouds stopping the lurkers from doing anything for Solar. Dark dives to try and get rid of Solar's attack.
But the lurkers repositioning out of the corrosive bile. Dark eating horrendous biles every time he moves forward. A decisive move from Dark. He walks forward and he eats the fist of Solar's army. A brutal engagement. Dark spending his entire bank here, but he's got so much to work with, and that might be his saving grace. Dark, yes, he's down in supply. He's got a little bit of money left. He needs to clear this out with his units that are popping out.
Well, he's still taking damage. There's a couple Roaches and a Hydralisk or two, and some Lurkers here from Solar, continuing to be very annoying in the natural here from Dark. Dark's bank is starting to get sub 1,000 here. The gas also a big part of the problem for Dark at the moment. And he does have adaptive talents now. Oh, what's Solar still rallying in units here for free?
This game
Solar,
is absolute
stop that.
chaos.
Stop that, bad Solar, no. Paul, no, Solar, no, bad Solar. Solar, no, Solar, no. Put it down, bad Solar. No, come on, that's, what a naughty Zerg. Always on the newspaper, please. Do it outside. Oh my God.
Nonetheless, a good comeback for Solar, but the supplies are tied up, and now the Lurker speed's done there for Dark. He's got the forward position, and most importantly, he's got that Viper advantage.
Oh man, these Lurkers are so hard for Solar to deal with. He doesn't have the Vipers of his own. He's got 3 of his own actually. Have they got any juice though? Looks like they've got a fair bit. He's going to try and yoink those Lurkers out, or even Blinding Cloud of his own. Army supply is still quite close. Both players amazingly quite close to economy as well as base count.
Oh, I mean, this is such an amazing situation for Dark with those adaptive talents, Lurkers, and the Vipers adding so much utility. Gets the base snipe, and I think he should just leave. Dark's rebuilt some economy. I mean, actually, there is still that Lurker causing a lot of damage back there, but he's got a base or two uplining. Dark's economy took some massive hits earlier. He's back up to 31 drones, and with fresher bases than Solar, I think his income's probably going to end up very similar, maybe even slightly ahead. Roach is still being annoying here for Solar. +3 ranges on the way for Solar, so he's going to get better upgrades. Without Vipers, though, I don't know. How many Vipers are left for Dark? He lost a few of them.
Got 2 versus 3 here.
Oh, man, it comes down to that.
Be careful not to kill this hatchery at the front.
Yeah, this all comes down to the micro. They're going to try and abduct each other's Vipers and focus them down with the Hydras, most likely. Whoever gets the abducts down first could end up winning this.
Oh, he's got the Vipers! The Vipers getting yoinked right into Solar's army, but he also eats a Blinding Cloud, also loses Vipers of his own. Dark has a lot more Hydralisks here.
Ooh, a couple good biles do land, but the Lurker ambush, he's going to pull back to his Lurkers. Solar loses a lot in the retreat, and he's got his own Roaches on the counter-attack, though. That's massive. Finds the unprotected base. We've got this army, though, of Dark. Oh, the Lurker flanked the Hydras, cutting off Solar's retreat. Solar's trapped between a Lurker and a hard place, and he's got to get home to defend his economy.
With all these amazing ZVZs, we're so spoiled. We got the Roaches and the Ravagers and the Hydras of Dark with Lurker coverage heading into the natural of Solar. Solar needing to defend it though. He's got a couple Lurkers of his own. Well, has to pull back though. He's in the convex versus the concave. Tasteless will tell you how that one goes. It's not very good here for Solar.
Yeah, abducting one of those key Lurkers out of the ground. Good move by Solar. Moves his own Lurkers forward. The splash damage is paramount. Even with the inferior supply, Solar can still bring this back. Those Roaches doggedly finding a way into the last vestiges of Dark's economy. He captures a corner of the units there. His Roaches on the other side of the map. A few of them escaping. This base on the low ground is burning. It is Dark's last little bit of economy. If we take a look at that base at the front, it's very low on life, and there's more units coming in. If they can snipe that, it's going to be all over for Dark. He's lost most of his important units. I think he's still got a couple of Vipers, though, and it's their job to even out the army supply disparity.
This is one of the greatest comebacks I've ever seen in this matchup. Solar doing everything right for so long here against Dark. Dark playing like a god as well. Nice yoink there on that Lurker, also grabbing a Ravager. Oh man, Solar doesn't have that much army here, but that Lurker covering his retreat.
Roaches and Hydras pushing forward, the single Lurker coming forward. Solar making the overwhelming battle. That Blinding Cloud was brilliant. A nice abduct pulls that Lurker to its death, but the drones are in the battle, and that's never a good sign. The last Roaches and Hydras
Solar fighting back, what a comeback. He was down a bank of 5,000 minerals, 3,000 gas, but the decision making from